Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Miller, and I am a global partner at Tiara International, and I'm here bringing a new Tiara tool to our Tiara Resource Circle. And this tool is connected to a topic, actually a component of personal growth and development that I think is absolutely essential, and that is self-compassion. So if you've been around me at Tiara at all, you know that this is something I'm deeply, deeply passionate about. And the reason that is because I think those of us who are part of this community and who are attracted to leadership development, personal growth, a spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it, we all are wanting to evolve and grow as human beings. You know, we actually have self-awareness. We want to be able to have an impact out there in the world. We want to have a positive impact. We want to leave some kind of a legacy. We want to feel potent and able to actually take the energy that moves through us, direct it in a certain direction, and actually be able to produce results and influence others to participate in a larger vision. But the people who are part of this Tiara community are up to really big things. And to be able to support the infrastructure that you need to be able to lift up and be able to operate that way, you have to know yourself incredibly well. You have to be deeply, deeply aware of yourself if you really want to be able to produce results and be influential. And that's really the heart of what the whole Tiara True Leadership model is about. And I say that one of the nuts at the core is that what feeds and fuels that awareness is self-compassion. It's the capacity to actually look upon ourselves and this life before us with care, with a sense of tenderness, of being able to hold, because human beings don't like being in pain. And we've invented, who knows, probably countless ways of taking flight of the pain of difficult thoughts, emotions, and body sensations, right? So for example, some of us might do midnight eating as a way to anesthetize from our emotions. Some of us might overwork, right? Or spend too much time on our iPhones. Maybe we're having another glass of wine when we really don't need it. Who knows? All kinds of ways that we take flight from pain. And if you think about it, it's really difficult for a wound to heal if it never gets attended to, right? So if you actually had a serious injury on your physical body and you went to the hospital and you were moving around, running around the emergency room, right? You didn't ever stop and slow down and acknowledge, I'm wounded. Nobody would be able to attend to you and care for that wound so that you could heal. And so a lot of times what we're doing in our lives is we're overworking, we're overeating, we're whatever we're doing, distracting ourselves from our pain. It's kind of like we're running around the emergency room. We're not actually witnessing and acknowledging, gosh, I'm in pain right now. And so no loving kindness, no care can be administered. And so it's very difficult to heal or to evolve in that arena because we're never attending to the pain with any care. And so then what happens is when we don't attend to that pain is it tends to fester, and it tends to result in us losing command of ourselves, where we're reactive, we're triggered, we're acting unwisely. We're not actually pausing and connecting with ourselves and getting clear on what's the wisest way to move forward in a given situation. So naturally, our capacity to produce results and be influential begins to become diminished because the reactive parts of ourselves start to take over and take charge of us, not our deepest intentions and inspiration and our values and our inner knowing and our wisdom. We sort of lose touch with it because of the festering of the pain. So let's do this Tiara tool together. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. And it's really important that we right now just focus on turning our attention to being kind. Okay, so we're letting go of some of the judgments we have of ourselves, and we're focusing now on being kind. So if you don't have this tool in front of you, you can just write this on a piece of paper. What I'd like you to do here at the top, or in the first box, is see if you can name a recent difficulty or challenge that you've been facing. Large or small, just something that's been going on where you've been, and it might be helpful to pick one where you know you've been judging yourself. Some kind of recent difficulty or challenge. So just take a moment to write that down. And at any point as we go through this, if you need more time, just hit pause and then hit play when you're ready to start again. Okay, hopefully you've been able to name a recent difficulty or challenge. So the first thing we want to do before we bring any wisdom to the situation, really, in terms of witnessing and being kind, is just be honest with ourselves about what were the automatic default reactions, the judgments, the inner critic, the reactivity that jumped up in you in response to that difficulty or challenge, right? So I wrote down some common examples of the kinds of things that I know sometimes I might say in myself, or I hear my clients say. A really common one is, I don't measure up, right? I'm inadequate in some way. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Some way in which we evaluate ourselves as not measuring up, okay? Another common automatic reaction is, I can't believe I said that. We're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I said that. Of course, we also can say that about other people. I'm not a good friend, or I'm not a good partner or parent or whatever, cook, I'm not, those also can turn into things like I'm not attractive enough, my thighs are too fat, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes our evaluations are really, our automatic reactions are more of like about other people. Like, why won't he or she just be kinder or nicer or get it together or be more organized, where we have some insistence that someone should be different than they in fact are. Sometimes our automatic reactions are like behaviors. So I know one of mine, when I get stressed and there's a lot on my plate, I can kind of move into this frenetic multitasking mode. It's not very effective, but I'm quite skilled at it. And then sometimes I'm just in kind of name calling mode. I think you might know what I'm talking about, where my automatic reaction is, what a jerk. And I'm being polite here, right? I think I use some other choice words. So just take a few moments right now, and write down what are some of the automatic reactions that you had in response to that difficult situation, about yourself, about other people, and it also can be automatic behaviors you started engaging in. Just take some time there. Hit pause if you need to. Okay, so now we're going to turn to the first really important part of this practice. This is where we actually slow down and actually witness the pain of what's really going on. So this is where we stop running around the emergency room. We sit down and we let ourselves be attended to. Okay, so what I wrote down here is they're actually connected from the left and right side. So you might want to think about, for whatever you wrote down, where I wrote down, I don't measure up, what's actually the real pain underneath that? I know for myself, whenever I get into a I'm not enough conversation, really there's this feeling of inadequacy in the inside, right? It's this heavy-hearted, frightened sensation in my body. So I'm shifting here from I don't measure up to actually I'm just witnessing the pain of feeling inadequate. And see if you can sense right now in your body what a shift that is. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, to I witness the pain of feeling inadequate. So I'm just going to run through these other examples, and then I'd like you to take some time to see what pain you might witness that's underneath those automatic reactions. I can see that when I say to myself, I can't believe I said that, that actually I'm experiencing shame. And when I feel like I'm not a good friend, it's usually because there's some loneliness there. And I wish somebody would be different, kinder, more attentive. I'm actually longing for love. And when I'm engaged in frenetic multitasking, I'm actually experiencing the pain of feeling crazy and out of control, overwhelmed. And when I say things like, what a jerk, it could be all kinds of things, but one of the things that happens for me is I can really have this pain of feeling misunderstood. I don't like being misunderstood. So take some time right now in the right-hand column and look a little deeper. With a kind heart, What pain do you witness? Okay, so just hit pause if you need more time, because that was kind of quick. And now we're going to jump down to the bottom here. We're just going to focus right now on the right-hand column, since we just did the same thing, the witnessing the pain in the in the right-hand column above. So what you want to do here is we're going to actually start to offer loving kindness. So I'm going to teach you how to do that real quick, and then we'll come back to this sheet here. So right now, what I'd like you to do is think about some person or being. It could be an animal as well, like a pet, or a loved one in your life who you really care deeply about. Somebody who really matters to you in your heart. And see if you can just kind of get them into your consciousness right now. And just for a few moments, I'd like you to imagine that they were hurt or suffering in some way. Right? Sometimes it's a little easier to actually imagine this for an animal. And I'd like you to think about how you might want to care for them. Let yourself feel that warm-hearted sense of compassion and care that you would have for a being that you love that was suffering. That sense of, oh, I'm here for you, wanting to attend to them. Much like the energy if you had a fever and I came with a compress and I tended gently to your forehead. That kind of loving tenderness. So I'd like you just to imagine yourself, that energy kind of rising up in you and moving towards that being. See if you can feel that right now in your body. It can help to put your hand over your heart. Now there's a practice called metta, which is a loving kindness practice where we actually offer blessings to others and to ourselves. And we do it in the form of may I statements. So if we think about this being right now, perhaps we might want to say, may you feel peace and ease. May you be safe and sound. May you be free from suffering. May you feel loved and cared for. So if you could just tune into what kind of offering may you, whatever you would wish for this being, what kind of loving kindness, metta, would you want to offer, right? Almost like you're going and laying down flowers somewhere, right? Out of respect to someone or something, that you're offering that loving kindness. Now, the reason that I just did this for you is that I wanted you to connect with that feeling, because it's often easier to direct loving kindness outward to others. And some of us are unfamiliar. It can feel strange or like you're coddling yourself, which you're not, to direct that kind of loving kindness back to yourself. So you can just take a deep breath. And now we're going to take that energy that you just were sending to that other being, and we're going to imagine that we're redirecting it back to ourselves. Okay. And so we're going to go back to that sheet and actually practice giving some metta, some loving kindness to ourselves. Given that difficulty or challenge you've been facing, what loving kindness does the pain you've been experiencing need? What do you need? What would help you feel cared for, supported, upheld, respected, tended to, cared for? For example, may I feel whole and complete. Whenever I feel inadequate, may I feel whole and complete. When I feel shame, may I hold myself in love. When I feel that loneliness, may I feel connection to myself. When I feel that longing for love, may I attend to my pain with love. When I feel crazy, may I allow myself to rest or pause. When I witness the pain of being misunderstood, may I be kind to my own inner life. So take a little time right now on that right-hand column and think about what kindness you'd like to receive. What would make a difference for you? So go ahead and take a little bit of time to write down those may I statements. These are a really good standalone practice. You actually don't even need to witness the pain to say, may I? But oftentimes, witnessing pain is a really important intervention after we get reacted and triggered. Witnessing pain is a way to slow ourselves down and acknowledge what pain needs to be attended to. You will get better at that with practice, and you'll be able to move to loving kindness and the may I statements more quickly, right? And you can practice this all the time, right? When I drive on the highway and I see there was a car accident, I always send out metta to all those who were involved and their families, right? When I do something stupid in traffic, right? I cut someone off or, wasn't paying attention. Not only would I send a blessing to them, but I would also bless myself, like, that may I feel a sense of peace and ease. May I be gentle with myself after having done something like that, okay? So I hope that you'll really enjoy this practice. As you can see, it's something I'm super passionate about, and I think it makes a huge difference in the quality of our lives and really enhances us on so many levels when we begin to be able to really attend to our pain, to our wounds, to our triggers, to our patterns with this kind of witnessing and loving kindness. So let us know what questions you have, what comments you have. You can click on Ask a Coach on the Tiara Resource Circle member page and ask one of us a question. And we really look forward to hearing from you and continuing to provide an ongoing library of Tiara tools to you. Thank you so much.